Deputy Leader. Today I come into the chamber, I suppose, really disheartened, not yet defeated, but feeling quite defeated in a sense from the lack of a date for the Citizens' Assembly on drug use in Ireland. Of course, the issues that they say will come up, that the memo said will come up in the next Citizens' Assembly are important ones, but to be honest, a directly elected mayor doesn't really come with the same urgency as the issue on drugs. To give it some context, every day this year somebody will die of an overdose. Every single day somebody will die of an overdose. So between this day and Christmas Day, so say if the Citizens' Assemblies that are being set up have a quick turnaround, they're set up, they run for the 9 months. Every single day that those Citizens' Assembly run, someone's going to die. And that's just of the overdose. Forget the other impacts of harm, the other impacts of drugs, of the lack of services for dual diagnosis, of the lack of detox beds, of the lack of aftercare beds, the lack of access to naloxone, the fact that the only treatment we have for assisted therapy in this country is methadone, when we do have Suboxone, when we can talk about heroin-assisted treatment, when we can talk about trauma-informed care. We've Keltai that's closed down because of COVID beds, hasn't opened back up. The only trauma-informed care for addiction in the country. Consumption sites, safe injecting facilities. You know, it's like, you know, 25 years I'm engaging in this issue. 25 years as a child that used drugs, to a person who ran addiction services and developed them, to a person that has now worked on drugs policy. And the lack of urgency on this issue is baffling to me. It's baffling. And you know what it comes down to today when I think about it is those 319 deaths that will happen between today and Christmas Day do not impact this chamber or the other chamber in the same way that it impacts their communities. Some communities will feel every inch of those 319 deaths, because addiction and chronic use and dependency is a response to deprivation, is a response to inequality. And my fear is that we're not treating it with urgency that it needs, because then the focus will be taken off the drug user and it'll be placed firmly back on the policymakers, when we realise that it's the inequality of one's conditions that leads to chronic use. And then we have to make real decisions about how we treat society, how we introduce legislation, how we make policies that negatively impact on the lives of some of the most vulnerable people in this country. And the moment we have a Citizens' Assembly, we will see that there is zero evidence for how we actually implement drug policy or services in this country. And then there's big decisions that have to be made on behalf of government, and I'm asking government to take them on. We can't wait 9 months for this Citizens' Assembly to be over to have a Citizens' Assembly on drugs, because another 319 people will die while we're waiting. Thank you.